disorder.
The FBI is involved.
You're going to the White House tonight? Yes!
In this edition of iBuys.com Tabloid TV, the Salahis. Rumors had it that they needed money so bad, risking prison to become famous was okay. They were being sued for unpaid bills, being investigated for tax fraud when they crashed the White House with Bravo's camera crew in tow. So they needed to go big or go bust. Having nothing to lose and everything to gain, they walked into the White House like they owned the place. And now they've been elevated to rock star status. Starring in the Real Housewives of DC, we explore in this edition of iBuys Tabloid TV. Before the Salahis became famous for crashing the White House, they were known locally by the sheriff's department and judges for being sued repeatedly for not paying their bills, or some say for bilking people in business deals. Many of the lawsuits had not been settled when they showed up at the White House on that November evening in 2009. But that did not stop Bravo from casting them in the Real Housewives of DC. And a Bravo camera crew would be filming the Salahis all day and be with them when they arrived at the White House the same evening. Looking like rock stars with lights and cameras trailing, they would be shown in amongst the other dignitaries, even though they had arrived without an invitation.
Did she produce that invitation for you?
Absolutely not. No, she told me that she had it and that she was going to show me, and she tried looking in her bag and never found it, and she didn't seem concerned that she didn't have it with her, which, you know, if you're going to the White House for a huge gala, you would hope to have that invitation glued onto you.
And even though reports would surface the Salahis had problems paying their debts, they hired a high-power attorney to represent them in their reality show days before they would crash the White House.
I mean, I was really, first I was shocked that she even called me because of, we have a outstanding balance because she hired me to do her wedding, and when she called, and I wanted to be sure that we locked the transaction before she leaves the salon.
Because you were worried that she wasn't going to pay you, and you're saying
correct.
she still hasn't paid you for her wedding makeup?
Now to a News Edge exclusive. The Virginia couple accused of crashing the White House state dinner in court today in Warren County. The charge, an unpaid lawn service bill for $925. Fox 5's Claudia Coffey has the video you'll only see on Fox 5. Claudia.
The lawn care company has been after the Salahis to pay this bill since 2008. Finally, the owner of the company, he just had it. He took them to court again today, where the Salahis were forced to pay up.
Tarek and Michaele Salahi arrived early for this exclusive appearance. Special guests for a 9 a.m. hearing at the Warren County District Courthouse.
What are y'all planning to tell the judge today?
Mike Dunbar, the owner of A1A Home Improvement, took the couple to court back in 2008 for not paying their lawn mowing bill. A judge ruled in Dunbar's favor, but the Salahis never paid up. Today they were issued a warrant and forced to appear. The bill, after interest and legal fees, was now over $2,000.
I've been in the lawn business for 5 years now, and I've only had 2 people not pay me, and they were one of them.
After 2 hours, the Salahis emerged. Are you happy with the settlement today, or do you have any comment today? The court didn't take the shirt off his back, but instead the watch off Tariq's wrist in order to settle the debt. A very expensive Patek Philippe watch that can cost between $17,000 and $250,000. After stepping out of the state dinner uninvited, the spotlight-seeking couple is now facing plenty of questions.
The White House is continue to stick by their statement that you were not invited
to the state dinner. Are you saying that the White House is lying? Do you owe them an apology? The Salahis did not respond to our questions about the investigation into their polo cup, their charity foundation, or even if Michaele was ever a Redskins cheerleader. The Redskins say that you were never a cheerleader. Do you owe them an apology? There was no chauffeur-driven limousine today. Instead, the Salahis had to walk 3 blocks, where they then ducked into a local law office. Meantime, in the parking lot,
It's just a parking violation.
a police officer with the town of Front Royal was writing the Salahis a $20 ticket for an expired inspection sticker. And when the Salahis finally went to their car,
Are you going to pay this new ticket?
Tariq quickly removed the ticket, and the Salahis wrapped up a day that likely won't be featured on their Facebook page.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
2 months prior to crashing the White House with the Bravo camera crew, they crashed the National Black Caucus with the same crew in tow. Therefore, what may be emerging is a story behind the story. As many are starting to ask, is Bravo behind the Salahis' White House crash for publicity for the Real Housewives of DC? As when they crashed the White House, it caused a national firestorm and one of the worst security breaches in U.S. history, and propelled the Salahis into the national spotlight, which helped the ratings for the Real Housewives of DC. Many believe the Salahis to be a fit for the show. They had to bring the drama, because having a privileged life was non-existent. According to the Washington Post, they were investigated by the state of Virginia for filing false papers for a charity that was not even registered at the time they were raising money for it. The winery they claim to own is not owned by them at all, but Tourette's aging father, and the winery is now in bankruptcy court. Tourette's $250,000 Austin Healey had been repossessed for non-payments.
Are being accused of attending another party they were not invited to. The couple was escorted from the Congressional Black Caucus annual fundraising dinner in September. Matt Lauer, though, asked them about that this morning.
Yes, we were invited. This is the first time I've ever heard, another false accusation against my wife and I, saying that we weren't invited there. We were invited there by the Gardner Law Group. We were a guest of theirs, proud guest of theirs. And no, were we escorted out? Of course not. That's, another...
And we are joined by Lance Jones from the Congressional Black Caucus with more on what happened that night. Why don't you set the stage for us? They were there. You saw them there.
Absolutely. It's our largest fundraiser of the year. It helps out our scholarships, fundraising, all that stuff. And that particular evening, prior to the event itself, there was a chairman's dinner, which basically takes place right before the dinner itself. And leading up to the actual the event, the annual legislative conference, we were in contact with Bravo, who actually was requesting a table for free because they had some members of the Housewives, the upcoming season, I suppose, that wanted to be a part of the conference. Our policy is not to give away anything for free. We have to pay for our scholarships, our internships, fellowships, and whatnot. So they told us a couple days beforehand that they had secured 2 tickets to the chairman's VIP reception, which was directly, before the actual dinner. So my understanding is that they attended that reception. I'm not quite sure if they had the tickets, but we were told that they did by Bravo. But right when Secret Service began ushering in everyone, apparently they were turned away because it did not have their tickets on them. At that time, they apparently made their way through the kitchen area and into the actual dining hall itself.
Did they sit down for dinner?
They sat down, and unfortunately, I guess they sat at the wrong table, because what happens is we have tables of 10 people each, and they're generally purchased by sponsors, whatnot. And so that particular table, our corporate sponsors came in and obviously noticed that these two people were sitting at their table, which obviously didn't belong. And at that point, I was kind of taken by the arm by one of our sponsors, and they let me know that there was somebody at the table that didn't belong.
And it became your responsibility to go and usher them out.
Absolutely.
So how did you do it? What did you say to them?
Well, I didn't want to cause a scene, but at the same time, I went and kind of grabbed a couple of our security personnel, and at that time we walked back and kind of asked them once again if they had their tickets and whether they were sitting at the wrong table. And I triple-checked my list, and when their name didn't come up, that's when I asked the security to escort them out.
Now, was the president at that event?
The president was, however, he was...
But the question remains, was Bravo behind all the crashes for the purpose of publicity for the Real Housewives of DC? Even though the Salah'is went before Congress, that question still is unanswered.
On the one-year anniversary of President Obama's inauguration, we had to endure this charade today. This was not a hearing looking for information. This was an opportunity for a public flogging. The Salah'is are innocent and have committed no criminal act. I repeat, the Salah'is have committed no criminal act. They made no misrepresentations. In fact, two Secret Service investigators known to this committee were privy to information from a person who knows the Salah'is and knows Ms. Jones, and made representations to the Salah'is that they were 100% invited to the White House that evening. This was not part of a reality TV show. This was not part of a publicity stunt. They believed, 100% believed in their hearts that they were invited to the White House that night for an event. They received...
You're going to the White House tonight? Yes! Oh no!
The Real Housewives of DC. Thursday, August 5th at 9/8 Central. Only by Bravo.
Michaele and Salahi needed a big break. And what better way to go for it than with a national TV company trailing their every move? And it worked. Once struggling for fame, yet now they were frontline news. And the steady paycheck would be assured.